Hi guys, welcome to the stream. Another Sunday night live session with me, Peter. I'm going to be here until about 10:30. Take a break, then I'll be back for the member stream, okay? And I've got a guest in the member stream tonight, somebody you might know. Okay, let's start saying hi to everybody. We've got quite a few in already. We're over the 100 now. Well, just coming up to 193. Right, okay. Hopefully it's not going to be too noisy outside because we've had thunderstorms all evening. I think they're just dissipating now, so should be okay. Fingers and toes crossed, okay? And I'm looking a little bit red, drank a little bit too much last night, as always. I'll talk about that in a bit. Right, let's just say hi to a new member there. It's Sean. Sean became a YouTube member. Welcome, Sean. Hope you're going to enjoy the member stream this evening. Anthony, a long-term viewer here. Good evening, Peter. I haven't been here for a long time, but in 2 years, I haven't missed a rerun. Take care. I'm still waiting for your first video, Anthony, on your YouTube channel. I'll give it a plug if you ever get round to actually doing one, okay? Napoleon blown apart. Hi, Peter and guys. I'll put that one up there. Peter, I watched your video in the week of the visit to the Indian curry restaurant. It made me very hungry for the curry. I must admit, looking forward to the rest of the stream. Right, thank you very much. So if you haven't seen that, you might not have seen that video yet. I've only released it to members on Saturday because now what I try and do is, because I release the stories to members on a Tuesday, it means on Saturday they don't have anything to watch from my channel anyway. So what I try and do is a midweek video about something else, anything, and then when I release these stories off to everybody on a Saturday, I then release a members only video on a Saturday. So I've done a video with a guy called Jason who's just moved out here recently, full-time, been out here for a couple of months now, guy from England, and he's Indian heritage. So we decided to visit India Town. I don't know if you're aware, there is an India Town here in Bangkok. It's not far from Yarawat Road in Chinatown. It's about 1.5 miles. We went down there and we went into a restaurant and we had a curry. It looks great in the video. I'm going to be releasing that video to everybody else on Tuesday. It looked great, but I'll be honest with you, it was a little bit disappointing for me. I've tried a few Indian restaurants around here now and still, to this day, nothing beats the Al Hussein's 3/1. I haven't found one better than that, and certainly not better priced. But yeah, maybe do some more food reviews in the future. Chris, how are you doing? Good to see you. In Prince Fergus, good morning, Peter. I know you must be getting excited with your daughters coming, being so near. Yeah, a little bit of news on that. So my daughters are arriving next Saturday. They're here for about 8 days, and I've planned a schedule for them. I was planning to completely stay away from YouTube and not do any social media or anything, just concentrate on my girls being here, which is the right thing to do, right? Haven't seen them for a year. But then I was kind of fighting with myself and thinking, well, you know, okay, that's one thing, but you've got a YouTube channel, you've got quite a lot of subscribers now. So what I've done, believe it or not, I haven't left my apartment other than going up for a swim yesterday, and I wanted to go today, but we had torrential rain. So I've been in this apartment since I woke up this morning. It's now 9:05. Other than last night, I've been here all the time. And what I've decided to do, I've pre-recorded 3 weeks of stories, and that's a long time. It took me 18 hours to do 3 uploads, more than that probably. I don't think people realize how much work's in them. But so I will be releasing the stories every Tuesday or Wednesday for the members and every Saturday for everybody else throughout. I'm not going to miss any Saturday, so that's good news if you're into the stories. And the other thing is, there won't be any scheduled live streams now for a couple of weeks because obviously they arrive on a Saturday. So I'm not going to be on a live stream on Sunday while I'm with them, am I? And then the following week they leave on the Monday. So again, I won't be on a live stream. But what I'll try and do is when I'm on the islands or somewhere like in Hawaii, I'll try and do at least one live stream a week, but it'll be in the afternoon. It'll just be an ad hoc if I can manage to do it. Okay, right. Geezers, Jason, the very man. How you doing? Hi, Peter and the crew. Another weekend for Hot Topics. Let's have a good one, and please thumbs up for the vlog. It's a shame you couldn't get any footage down there, Jason. We went in the daytime. Jason and I. This is a guy who's left the comment right now, and we went in the day, but when you go down the middle of India Town, it's all, you can see all the lights and everything. Obviously, that's all lit up at night. And I said to Jason, it would have been nice to come down here at night when it was all lit up. And Jason went down there with his girlfriend. And he said, well, I'm going down on Saturday. I'll take some footage for you and you can tag it on the end of that video. But unfortunately, thunderstorm, torrential rain, he couldn't do any filming. Next time. Right, Jim, how are you doing? 30 days, evening, Peter and all. Brian Street, evening to you and everybody else. Javier, good evening, Peter. Everyone, how are you doing? I'm doing really well, Javier. Very excited about next week. Let's just get these currencies up. People are a little bit worried about the currencies fluctuating, but they're still holding their own at the moment. Not too bad, as you can see. I've just updated those currencies today. Okay, let me get rid of Where are we? Where are we? Get rid of that. There we go. Right. Okay. Kevin Sutherland. Hello, Peter and watchers. I hope everyone is doing well. Kevin from Australia, Queensland. How you doing, Kevin? Good to have you in the stream. Scuba Steve. Peter, please try and interview Steve Ross and Tim Newton together. I've interviewed Tim Newton. He's a very difficult guy to get a hold of. When I pinned him down, literally, you know what I mean? I got hold of him. That sounds even worse. When I managed to make an appointment to have an interview with him, he's a very busy guy, Tim. And I managed to get a good hour out of him. And it was a very, very good interview. I don't actually know who Steve Ross is because although I watched Tim's TNT every day, I guess Steve Ross is one of the guys who joins him at the weekend. I don't know. But to get the three of us together for an interview, it would be pretty hard out of location. I'm going to be doing another interview with Peter this week from Thai Legal. I don't know if you remember, Peter. He's got the legal company in Bangkok. And they engage Thai lawyers and everything, small membership fee. Basically, if you find yourself locked up in a police station at 3 o'clock in the morning, these guys can help. They can read, get contracts translated, and they do all sorts of things. And I've done some videos in the past with Peter on contracts for condos, and I can't remember now, some various bits. But we're going to do another video on street. He's down in Pattaya. I'm in Bangkok, obviously. So we're going to do an online interview, and we're going to talk about opening a bank account as a tourist. Because if you remember, a few weeks ago, I uploaded a video I made. I opened a second bank account, and the video was called "How to Open a Bank Account in Thailand," and that was targeted mainly at retirees. And as far as I knew at the time, as a tourist, you couldn't now open a bank account. Jason managed to do it, but they changed the rules yet again, as they do here in Thailand. And as far as I was aware, you couldn't open a bank account as a tourist. According to Peter, you can do it. I don't know. He hasn't told me how. So I'm going to do the interview with him this week. I hope to get it up before next weekend. So anybody who's interested to open a bank account here in Thailand, and you're only going to be here on kind of 30-day, 60-day visa. I don't know how it's possible, but apparently it is. And I'll get that information to you. Okay, let me just get rid of this and we'll say some more hellos. Okay. Where are we? Where do we leave off? Okay, Richard Harris, happy retirement, Aussie Rose. That's my future plan. What's Aussie? What did you say there? I missed that one. Richard Harris, happy retirement. Oh, okay, I've just read that. Okay, Aussie Rose, you're going to retire. Where are we? Hi, Peter and all. Okay, yeah, made my retirement deposit and got my Eva Air ticket for February, full speed ahead. Yeah, okay, so you got a lot to look forward to. Bangkok's starting to get a little bit busier, I've noticed now, because we are coming into the end of, I wouldn't say we're coming into high season, but we're coming into the end of low season now. We've still got the rain. I'm hoping by next weekend I'll get lucky because I've booked myself and the girls a couple of nights on an island. I'm going to take them down to Hua Hin. They want to see an elephant sanctuary. I'll take them up to Monkey Mountain in Hua Hin and, some day trips. I've booked the first night they're here. I've booked a cruise on the river past the Grand Palace. It's all lit up at night and they do a buffet. I forget the name of the boat, but it was cost me. You have to be very careful when you book these cruises because the first slot I was looking at, they're all ages. They were like anywhere between 12 and 1,500 baht. And then I actually found the company who deal directly with them. And I paid 950 a ticket. So 2,800 baht for the three of us. So they should enjoy that. Richard Harris, Paul Hoskin, you like Indian food a lot. Do you eat any Thai food regularly? I do, Paul. There's a lot of food I like and a lot of food I don't like. But I do. A place I go quite often is Soy 14, Sukhumvit Soy 14. So that's Terminal 21, cross the road. It's a Thai place outside. It looks a bit shabby actually, but it's full every night. You got to be careful what time you go. It's just Thai food, great Thai food. It's not overly expensive. They do a large chang or a San Miguel, the large one that you normally pay 210, 222 for anywhere on Sukhumvit. They do it for 110 baht, and it's damn good food as well. And in fact, it's listed in the Lonely Planet guide if anybody still reads that. But that's on Soy 14, Sukhumvit Soy 14. So yes, I do like Thai food. But my weakness is Indian food. And the problem is at the moment, it's too easy to get it. And I'm eating too much of it. I've had it twice this week already. And I said to a friend of mine, Bob J, who I was out with, I said, look, Bob, I've got to knock this on the head because I'm just eating too much of this stuff. I've actually stopped eating at night now. I went for my, I've been going for health checks regularly every 6 weeks. And I went yesterday, was it, or 2 days ago. I went to Med Park on Rama 4. They did a full blood check, and great news, because I've stopped heavily drinking. I've stopped eating at night. I've got the bicycle I go out on the park in the park with, and I swim nearly every night now, because I do enjoy doing lengths in the pool. Not heavy, hard work. I just do some gentle laps back and forth. And yeah, she told me all my organs are good. My sugar levels have dropped right down. What else did she say? I've lost 1.5 kilos properly, so I haven't like binge dieted or fasted or anything like that. Because of that, she's now said, well, instead of 6 weeks, let's leave it 3 months, continue what you're doing, and we'll see where we go from there. So I'm very, very happy about that. Anders Bergman, hi everybody. Huggy Bear, hi Peter. Hope you had a good week. Are you noticing an increase in tourists in Bangkok? Well, I just mentioned that, didn't I? Yeah, there is. There are a few more people. But I'll tell you what I've noticed more than anything, apart from being very thirsty. What I've noticed is a lot of Koreans, and they're everywhere now. And I've got a friend who's been going to the Philippines for 25 years. And he actually wrote to me last week, and he says the Philippines isn't just the same. He said the same anymore. He says it's absolutely saturated with Koreans. They're coming out the woodwork. No racism or anything. No disrespect to Koreans or Japanese, anything like that. It's just a fact of life that they're everywhere now. You go into Nana Plaza, it's full of Koreans. You go into Therme, full of Koreans. You go into the bars in Soy Cowboy, full of Koreans, and they all smoke, as well. It's so that's one of the biggest change I've noticed in the last sort of years. Believe it or not, I've been here over a year now. I came out in October when I separated with my wife, and we're now into November, so it's over a year. The good news is I just had a chat with my landlady, the girl's mother who owns this apartment, and they're not going to put my rent up, and they're going to sign me up for another year. So that's great. I've got a great location in Sukhumvit for 20,000 baht a month. Fantastic pool, park along the road there, and yeah, real good. Okay. Aussie Rose again. Richard Harris, thank you, sir. New chapter, but plan to retire in Thailand since the 90s. Yeah, I didn't. I've been coming here a lot of times, and I worked here, and I wasn't planning to retire here. It just happened. I'm here, but yeah, I'll tell you what, it's great. I've got a life here. I didn't have a life back in the UK. Scuba Steve, Peter, you have watched a version. I'm 33. I think Steve Rossi is amazing. Anyone else agree? Just love him, straight up go. Never heard of him, honestly. But then I don't watch a lot of YouTube channels. I managed to catch a couple of live streams today in Pattaya, the normal ones that they do on Saturday. It just amazes me that these guys who do the live streams in the bars, they have the girlies around them. The amount of money that's thrown at these girls. I was watching one today, and you can buy them a ladies' drink, I don't know if it's a virtual ladies' drink, or I just kind of looked in for a couple of minutes, but there's guys like $20, $50, $100, $30, and it's like constant. And you think, wow, this is really generating a lot of money for them. But yeah, fair play. If the girls are getting it, then the guys want to buy them, then fair enough. Right, Toby Price. Hi, Peter Among Us. Have you heard about a 500% rise in dengue fever in Thailand this year? Do you know what, Toby? You hear a lot of things. You do hear a lot of things, and where the 500% comes from, I don't know. I get bitten by mosquitoes all the time. I've never caught anything, and in fact, my daughters are coming out, as you know, next week, and I've got them both the 2 essentials diarrhea tablets, because I've told them, Imodium. I said, when you get here, you will have the crap, you will have the shits, because it's just different food, different air, different water. And I've got them a couple of bottles of this. It's very, very good, actually. It's for the mosquitoes. It's supposed to be to stop them biting you, but I find it's actually soothing, better than any cream after they actually bite you. It takes away the itchiness, as it were. Okay, 117 now. Good stuff. Right, Mike. Hello, everyone. Scuba Steve, yeah, one YouTuber's wife died of it a few weeks back. Oh, I didn't know. I think a lot of it's got to do with your DNA and your makeup and how strong your body is, isn't it? If you've got it was like COVID. If you've got underlying health issues, and your immune system's weak, then it's going to affect you more than somebody who's very, very healthy, who works out, for instance, actually fit. No strings. Book direct flight, April 2024, London, Bangkok, Thai Air, flying Tuesday night, coming back Sunday night after Songkran, £1,040. Not a bad price at the moment. Price will be expensive next year. Right, I'm bringing Franco in as my guest in the member stream, and the reason being is because I spoke to Franco on the phone today, and I didn't only call him because he's one of the moderators on the stream. Damon's not around because the stream's a bit early for him. He should be in for the member stream later. But I spoke to Franco today, and he told me a great tip to get cheap flights, cheaper flights, like nearly a third knocked off the price. And I was like, wow, I didn't think of that. And I said, look, Franco, why don't you come into the stream and tell everybody what it is? So he reluctant, because he's a bit shy, Franco. He said, all right, I'll come in. So I'm going to bring him in, but I'm going to bring him into the members stream. And the reason I'm going to bring him into the members stream is because although he's moderating, he is doing stuff in the background. And by 10:30, he'll be totally free. He can come in and he'll talk about that. It might not be for everybody, but it's a great idea. If you can get cheap flights that way, why not? Brett, Peter, have you heard about new potential tax laws? 35% tax. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. I have heard, but 35% coming January 1st, 2024, and may impact experts. Okay, so there's a lot of figures being bandied about, okay, and they haven't announced any figures. Some people said it's going to be 15%. Other people said 20%. Now you're saying you've heard 35%. It's not going to be 35%. Who pays 35% tax on a normal wage? Yeah, okay. So let me just tell you the situation on that right now. There's lots and lots of videos about this at the moment. A lot of the retirees out here are very, very nervous about it. Some people are panicking. Other people are trying to look at loopholes, how they can get cash out here. But at the end of the day, the Thai government, not the Thai government, the what would you call it? The Inland Revenue. All they've said is that they are going to implement some kind of tax for income that's earned outside the kingdom. So when it comes in each month or each year, whenever it is, you will have to pay tax on it. But they haven't said exactly what they're going to do. And there's a lot of things that come into the mix, like especially America. You know, they've got a very strong tax treaty with America. We've got a tax treaty in the UK, but that doesn't mean they're just going to dismiss tax for all UK and Americans. I think a lot of European countries have as well. It's too early to say. Definitely, they've said in January they're going to tax. There's going to tax income that comes in. Previously, they didn't do it because there were loopholes. If you kept it to the following year, brought it in a year later, you kind of got past the tax situation. But nobody knows. Everybody's guessing right now. And until the Inland Revenue in January come out and say, right, this is what's happening, I can't see them taxing retirees myself, because you've worked hard, you've paid tax on the money all your life, and then suddenly you're going to be taxed just because you're a foreigner living here. I can't see them doing that. Other people have said, well, I'll just tell them it's my savings and I'll bring it in every month and they can't tax me because I'm going to tell them it's my savings. But what they don't realize, everything's computerized now, isn't it? So what I'm just guessing as well now, but I'm just giving you some scenarios. So what the tax, the Inland Revenue here might do, they might say, well, okay, that's fine. If it's savings, you don't pay tax on it, but we need to see proof where that money's come from. It's all electronic. You can download bank statements now and you can send it off electronically. And you might be one of those guys and say, well, I sold a house, I had £100,000, that money's sitting in the bank and I'm now living off of that. And they might say, well, that's fine, show us that bank statement. They see you sold a house, 100,000 come in and you're living off it, and then you won't get taxed. But on the other hand, guys who are working and they tell the Inland Revenue that, they'll look at the statement and they'll see the money coming in every month. They'll be like, well, where's that money come from? We want to see that bank statement. So it's a tough one. You've got to wait. Everybody's second guessing on that tax thing. Even me, but I'm not worried about it because I know we've got to wait and see. And one of the things that happens in Thailand, sometimes they announce things and they just kind of fizzle out. They fizzle away. So they'll bring out a new rule and they'll say, from next month, we're going to do this, or from next week, we'll do that. And it just fizzles out. I don't think the tax thing is going to fizzle out. But that's how it is here. And nothing's hard and fast. There's no hard and fast rules here. So it like the tourist non-exempt stamp and the bank accounts, Jason was able to get one on his tourist, not a visa, but the stamp. Somebody else goes along a week later and it's not possible. The rules are always changing. They change very, very often. That's Thailand. That's part of being here in Thailand. Okay, Abby, is it? Hi, I visited Bangkok for a week. I want to say that there's lots of people, let's not say Thai people, are approaching you and they're trying to sell you all kinds of stuff. You have to be very, very careful. Well, a lot of those people you're talking about, they're from Vietnam, not Vietnam, sorry. They're from Laos, Cambodia and stuff. And a lot of them do come in across land borders, possibly no visas. That's why when you go to Soi 4, if you look at the freelancers outside the Nana Hotel, go along a little bit to Hooters there and you'll see a lot of girls sitting on motor scooters and you think, well, why don't they work in bars? Why aren't they in go-go bars? The reason being is because a lot of them, they're just here and maybe they shouldn't be working or they shouldn't be here, and their only opportunity to make money is by being incognito doing that. So yeah, they do come up and sell you, but you know, I'm starting to witness more and more something that used to really annoy me. I know people have got to make a living, but you'd be in a restaurant, you'd order your food, you'd have your drink there, you're just about to eat your food, or you are eating your food, and some guy comes up, taps you on the shoulder, and you look around and he's got a box of watches. 10 seconds later, his mate comes along with a box of watches. It's like, you know, I'm eating my food. If I was desperate for that watch, I wouldn't buy it now because I'm eating. And, you know, what used to annoy me, what used to annoy me is the restaurants didn't appear to do anything about it. You know, you're their customer. And years ago, I asked, I said, look, why don't you stop these guys coming in? It's really annoying. They're like, well, you know, they have to eat. They have to make money. It's not for me to stop them eating. But I have noticed now a couple of places I was in lately, and people came in selling, and the manager or whoever was in charge sort of went up to them and said, no, you can't come in here. I was in there, Al Hussein, and there was a woman. I don't know if she's really Arabic, Thai. She's Thai, actually. But she had the full, you know, the full burqa on. Her face was exposed, but she was going around tables actually inside the restaurant, and the manager came out. He says, you can't come in here. And he found it really hard to get her out. And even when he pushed her out the seating area that's indoors, she moved to the other seating area, which isn't indoors, and still carried on. He was like, look, get lost. You can't come in here. Red Lion, I was in there the other day with Bob again, and we were having a breakfast in the Red Lion on Soy 13, just underneath the trendy building. And there's a woman comes in there. She's horrible. She's horrible. You're eating, and she comes up. She's behind you. She literally does this. That's how hard she hits your shoulder, right? And you look at it and you say, I'm eating, you know, no, wow. And she'll do it again, and she'll go around the bar, and then she'll do it again. And the girls in there, they're just staff. I've said, like, what? This woman's horrible. Why do you let her come in? I'm eating breakfast. I'm not moaning. I'm just saying. And they said we tried to stop her coming in, but she's so persistent. You know, what can you do? Right, Ricardo. Hi, Peter. Is the restaurant on Soy 14 called Suda? I believe it is. Been going there for years. Never had a bad meal. They're always closed on Sundays. I didn't know that. I didn't know they're closed on Sundays, because I tend to go on a weekday, because the weekends, obviously Sunday, I don't go out because I'm doing these live streams. I might go for a swim earlier, but I believe that's the name of it. But when you look at it, it looks really shabby. Okay, but when you go in there, all the menus, photographs, and it's very, very good. I'll pay a couple of $100 for a meal, and maybe $100 for my singer. Sorry about the itchy hooter again. I think it's the dust. Right, Kev. As you're getting older, let's put that up. As you're getting older, it's important to be same resistance training to keep the muscles strong. Okay, yeah. Sometimes if you don't enjoy the training, it's very difficult to keep it up. I found that years ago. I joined a gym, and it got to the point where, you know, I'd think, well, I have to go 4 days a week. And sometimes I'd miss. And I think, oh, if I don't go this week, and I'd force myself to go. And I really hated it. You know, and I'm on the running machine. I kept looking at the watch, and half an hour became like 24 hours. It was so boring. And I didn't carry on with it, you know, because I lost interest in it. But what I've found now, because I've got a bike and there's a park with a good bike track around it, I only go on the bike a couple of times a week because I don't have the time. But I enjoy the swimming, and because it's just upstairs on the roof, I can get in the elevator, go up, jump in, nice temperature, do quite a few lengths, and come down. I love it. I do it most days, and it's really nice. I enjoy it. So I'm getting good exercise, and I'm enjoying what I do. Ricky, do you eat the spicy Thai food, or do you ask for non-spicy? No, Ricky, my biggest problem, and you'll see from the Indian restaurant I went to on Little India, my biggest problem is I cannot get it spicy enough. I like it so spicy where my lips are tingling, they're burning, you know. And a lot of the time, when I went down to Little India, I said, make it pet. You said pet. That means in Thai, that means spicy, pet, you know. And a lot of the time they say, yeah, but they think it's going to be too spicy for you. And what happens, they bring out a medium curry, you know, or a medium Thai dish spicy. So what I normally get them to do, which isn't the same, but it's the only way around it, is bring out some small chilies, chop them up, and I'll eat them with whatever I'm eating. Or I found it very boring. Chris Card says, London to Bangkok only 565 on China Eastern, but long stop over in Shanghai. Yeah, I don't think I'd fly with China Eastern, Chris. I remember years ago, because the flights are expensive, I'm talking probably 15 years ago, 10 years ago, my daughters were very young, and my wife being Korean, she had to go home and see her family. She wasn't working. I used to give her, like in those days, about £1,500, £2,000 spending money, because she wasn't working. She went back to Korea for a month. She's got the kids with her. She can't go back penniless. I mean, I had to save. It was hard to send her back. I used to send her back once every 2 or 3 years. And I am getting around to what your comment says. There was one year I got the cheapest flight I could fly. I think it was Air China, and she had to stop in Beijing with the kids for 22 hours. And I just booked it because I wasn't thinking of them really. It was a bit selfish on my part. I was just looking at prices and thinking about nothing else. But looking back on it, it was a terrible thing to do. You know, considering the children were young, to have them sit in an airport for 22 hours, and considering I was a traveler, I know what it's like when you get a stopover for 4 hours, 6 hours. It's awful, right? Um, on the rare occasions that I had stopovers that were over 6 hours, I'd book an airport hotel. So if I had, say, a stopover of 10 hours, 8 hours, what I'd do is I'd check in the cheapest hotel I could find in the airport. I'd order room service, and then I'd have a nice shower, lay on the bed, watch a bit of TV, and I left the room completely refreshed. Well, they were in Bangkok airport for Beijing airport for 22 hours, and they left the airport feeling like crap, you know. So I think you've got to have a balance with price and comfort, you know. It's not too bad when you're young. When you're a young man on your own, you can do it. But you know, when you're kind of our age, you want a bit of comfort in your life, don't you? When it's like when I came back for the last time, this time I'd sold my house. I decided to come back business class on Thai Airways. It was £2,000 one way, but it was worth every penny. It was lovely, really nice. Right, Bamboo. Hi, Peter. Good to catch the usual stream. Yeah, hi, Bamboo. Good to have you in. Anders, there's apparently a street food vendor in Bangkok that has received a Michelin star. Did you hear that? No, I haven't heard anything about that. But some of the street vendors are very, very good, aren't they? Jason Finch, Peter, how the bar girls in Pattaya doing? I haven't been down to Pattaya for 3 weeks. It's been quiet, hasn't it? Because it's been low season. But what I'd said on the bar scene in the last time I was down there was in, I went to Tree Town. I went out for a few drinks in Tree Town. And it's really weird because some bars are really busy. Like you look down in Tree Town, there'll be like one there, one here, and one down there that are really busy, and the rest are empty. And you think, well, why are those bars empty? And you look and you can't really. It's really hard to see why that particular bar. The music's not any better. They don't have more beautiful girls in there. Just happens to be a more, you know. They just, I don't know. Right, let me just say thank you for the first super chat of the night. I hope it's the first one. Joyous Roma, have good visit on your daughters. Right, thank you for that. Definitely buy some nice cold drinks on the beach for that. Thank you. Okay, where were we? Right. And yeah, okay, I read that. I'm just catching up there. Scuba Steve, that YouTuber who does the cooking in Bangkok, I think he gets like 30, 50, $500 super chats. I know the Roti lady, she does very, very well. I haven't actually caught any of her streams, I don't think. But Franco was telling me, you know, guys are throwing like $50, $100, you know, and it's a constant stream, you know, fair enough. I mean, you know, I heard that she sings very well on her live streams and stuff. Right, Andrew Hammond, there's a man to be reckoned with. Drinking lots of whiskey deters mosquitoes from biting you. They hate the smell that comes out of your skin. So did my wife, Andrew. So did my wife. So what I was going to tell you, Andrew's in the south of France at the moment. You did tell me the name of the town. I've forgotten. Very thirsty. But what you did tell me, it's €8 for a beer, so you won't be staying around there for very long. Just on the beer thing, and I was telling Andrew this earlier, what I've decided to do, I've given up drinking beer at home, not for a health issue or anything like that, but you know, I just got fed up of lugging bottles of beer to my every day. Or you can order them from 7-Eleven. Won't deliver alcohol, they won't, but there are certain places you can order boxes of beer, but then you've got to sit in and wait for it, and it could be up to 2 hours for it to be delivered, or it's downstairs and you think, is somebody going to lift it or whatever? And you know, I just thought, you know, I don't need to drink beer at home. It's pointless. What's the point? You know, if I go out to a bar, I'll have a beer, no problem. But I was bringing back bottles of San Miguel Light, you know, drinking 4 of them some nights. And it's 44 baht a bottle of San Miguel from 7-Eleven. Okay, it's £1, right? So £4 a night, £3 a night, whatever, £5 on a rough night. But I just decided, you know, I'm not going to drink beer anymore. And also because I'm trying to lose a bit of weight, I thought, well, that will help, won't it? Not drinking the beer because you've got the calories. So what I'm drinking now, I have a tumbler, a glass about that big. I'll put in about half an inch of whiskey, 3 big blocks of ice, which I make every day with fresh mineral water. And then I put about that much Coke Zero in it, maybe an inch, and then that much, the rest of it, I top it up with soda water. And I find that very, very refreshing. And I don't get pissed because I'm mixing a lot of water with it, because it's only that much whiskey in the bottom. but the glass is that high and the rest is just water and a minimal Coke, even though it's zero. I don't want to drink too much every night. And I find that suits me quite well. I'm actually meeting a viewer tomorrow night, so I dare say I'll be on a few beers tomorrow. But yeah, it's kind of quite nice not drinking beers, and I don't feel bloated all the time. And I used to feel lethargic when I woke up. No strings. You can get cheap flights. It's easy, but if you want a certain day direct with certain airlines, it won't be cheaper. Well, we'll see what Franco has to say on that later. Javier, we had very stormy weather this week, mainly in the south of England. Absolutely awful. I can't wait to escape to Thailand in 7 weeks' time. Yeah, Javier, the thing about the weather in the UK, anywhere in Europe, actually, it's cold, isn't it? At least here, if you get caught in a rain shower or it's windy or whatever, it's not cold. It's still warm. Even the rain is warm. Right, Stephen James, Inland Revenue. You mean the Thai Revenue Department? Yeah, I call them the Inland Revenue. Okay, that might not be the correct name. That's what we call it in the UK, but people know what I'm talking about. Richard Harris, I'm looking forward to see how to open a bank account on a tourist visa. Seems impossible at the moment. You and me both, Richard, because when I spoke to Peter earlier, I said to him, I don't know how to. And he said it is possible. So we're going to talk about all sorts of banks, how to open them. I've got two accounts now. I've got Capricorn Bank and Bangkok Bank. And I explained in that video why I opened a second account. Franco, Stephen James, yes, I think he meant that, but he's in the UK mode. Yeah. Okay. Paul Hoskin, would you work as a hotel manager in Bangkok if you had the opportunity? No, Paul. In fact, I was offered a few bits and pieces, not in Bangkok, but in the south of Pattaya about 3 years ago. They were hotels that were not mainland chain hotels, but word gets around, and I've been offered things like small hotels, live in, salary in baht, maybe 70,000-80,000 baht a month, but I get food, but long hours. I did many years in the hotels. It's not something I want to go back into. It's very tiring work. It's very fulfilling as a career. But to do it now at my stage of life, I don't want to sound like an old man, but that's not something. I've got freedom now. I make some YouTube videos. I get some income from my property in the UK. I'm not rich by a long shot. I'm doing okay, but it's quite nice the life I'm living now. If I don't want to wake up, I don't wake up. If I want to step late and watch a movie, I'll watch a movie. Good to see you in, Steve. Yours travels. How's it going, Peter? And Jens, yeah, going fantastic. Nice picture there on the back of the boat. That'll be me next week, Steve, down on the islands again. David, with the watch thing, I heard they distract you so badly, can lift your phone or wallet too. I don't think that's with the watch guys. They don't generally pickpocket you or steal things. They're just a nuisance because they're selling these watches, and there's one, you say no to one, another one turns up 10 minutes later. But something that's quite interesting, there's one, the Bangladeshis, some of the guys around here, because I go to the Al Hussein quite often, and I do go often, there's a couple of watch sellers, these guys with a boxer, they hang around that area. And the first couple of times they tried to sell me watches, and I was like, no, I'm never ever going to buy. But I'm smiling, I said, I'm never going to buy a watch, never. I come here to eat. You can ask me 1,000 times, I won't take it if it's free, and I made a big joke of it, and they were laughing and stuff. So they know the staff there, they're all friends, so they talk and that. And sometimes I'll be getting on my scooter and I'll be, how are you doing? Have you sold many watches today? And I actually spoke to one this week, and I said, be honest, how much do you make from it? Because the first time I asked him about 6 weeks ago, he said, oh, I don't sell any. And I'm like, hang on a minute. You're walking around all day, 7 days a week, and you don't make anything. He was like, yeah, I don't make anything. I'm like, well, how do you live? Anyway, stupid answer. And the other day I was around there, same guy, he knows me now. And I said, come on, because they speak English, right? Bangladeshis. And I says, come on, how much do you make? Honestly, just out of interest, I'd love to know. You're out all day selling these bloody watches that they probably get in Chinatown, Klom Tom, something like that. And I said, how much do you make? Honestly. And he said, well, on a good day, I'll make 500 baht. And on a bad day, I'll make 500 baht. On a good day, I'll make 1,000 baht. And I'm like, wow, your average waiter in a restaurant here doing an 8-9 hour shift are earning 300 baht a day. So if he's earning, let's say on average 750 baht a day over 30 days, you work it out, what's that, 25,000 baht? Good money. I know what to do if I ever get hard up, go to Klom Tom and buy a suitcase of watches. Thank you to CA for that super chat there. I believe J Phi, located in Manchester Road, is the number one Michelin star food vendor. Her name is Sabrina. Okay, I'll let everybody read that. Wears goggles while cooking. Okay, I don't, Brett, thank you for the super chat. I don't know her. Although I'm living here, people sort of think, oh, well, he must know everything because he lives here. And I don't, because, a lot of time I'm here editing and stuff. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. But thanks for the super chat. Um, right, all right. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Okay, read that one. Aussie Rose daughters will miss Loy Katong in late November. Yeah, you can't have everything, can you? It was all It was all flights. At the time, the flights were very, very expensive. We booked them about 7 months ago, and they're coming on Etihad Air. Is it? They stop in Abu Dhabi for 2 hours. They'll arrive here at early evening. I've just had the car service. Thank God it was nothing major. Let me tell you a story about the car. You know, I've got an MG3. It's 3 years old. It's got 30,000 miles on the clock. It's an automatic, great little car, made in China. English badge on the front. It used to be a UK company, obviously. Because I'm one of those people that I'll spend once to have it right, to make sure it's all done. So although it's low mileage, I don't know, where it was parked, how the guy serviced it or anything. So I took it into a place called Be Quick. They're kind of like the Quick Fit in Thailand. They're not really mechanics, but they change all the accessories. So I put it in there. I had 4 new tires, window blade washers. They changed the oil filter, the aircon filter, and a bunch of other stuff. They put all the old stuff they take out in the boot, so they know so that I know they've really done it. And my bill was just over 20,000 baht. Ouch! I know that's about £470. Okay, but that's including 4 tires, budget tires. So that's all been done. But I had this problem where if I was on a motorway and I just paid the toll booth and I'd pull away and it kind of not misfire exactly, but it wasn't smooth. There'd be a little bit of a jerky feeling. It never happened at high speed. It was only at low speed. And I was quite worried about it because it felt like it was misfiring, but the passenger wouldn't feel it. It was, imagine a car misfiring, but it's very, very gentle. You could just feel it. And it was doing that all the time at the lower speed. So when I put my foot down 20, 30, 40 miles an hour, it was doing it. And I took it to Be Quick. And because they don't know, they're not mechanics. I said, invest. Can you tell me what it is? And they're like, oh, it could be the gearbox. So of course, I was crapping myself. I thought, Jesus Christ, 30,000 miles and the gearbox is gone. Anyway, I decided to book it into MG, the dealers, okay? And what an outcome I had from that. So I took it in there and I said, look, can you put it on your... I kept saying diagnostics machine. I kept translating diagnostics machine and they just didn't get it. And I was going over and I was like pulling my hair out. I was like, how can I make them understand? And she was saying, oh, the mechanical check everything. And I said, look, he doesn't have to check it. Just put it on a diagnostic machine, run it, and that'll pull up all the sensors and everything. Anyway, my error, they call it a computer. Okay, I call it a diagnostic machine in it, like they do in England. And it's a computer. So anyway, they said, look, after they'd done that, I said, look, you need to leave it here. And I'm like, why? And they said, well, there's some serious issues going on with your engine. In broken tires, they speak quite good English in the MG garage. They must employ people who have got quite a good education because there were several women who spoke pretty good English. And she said to me, really nice girl, really nice. And she said, look, you're going to have to leave it here. It's got some serious problems. A lot of lights are coming on. I was like, well, what problems? Like, well, we can't tell you now. You have to leave it here. The mechanic will look at it. And, and I'm thinking, Jesus, you're telling me the engine's got serious issues. So I'm thinking, what we're talking, 50,000 baht, 100,000 baht, new gearbox, new engine? Crapping myself, actually. Then she said, the bombshell, right? She said to me, I said, well, when will it be ready? How long do you take? How much will it cost? She said, well, we can't tell you now. We have to investigate and we'll phone you in 2 days' time and we'll tell you. Leave it here. So and this is on Nut. Okay. The garage is on Nut. And I'm like crapping myself, right? But then she says to me, it'll be ready in about 2 weeks' time. And I'm like, 2 weeks? My daughters are coming next Saturday. This is 3 days ago. Right. I said, my daughters are coming on Saturday. I said, we're planning to go to Hua Hin. We're planning to go down to the islands. I want to take them down to the Mekong Market Railway, the floating market down there as well. And I was like pleading with them, try and get this done. I need it done. Anyway, out of the blue, and they say only in Thailand, 24 hours later, I get a phone call. Oh, it's whatever her name was from the MG garage. I'm like nearly shaking with fear. She said, oh, your car's ready. You can come and pick it up. And I'm like, really? Well, you said it had a serious problem with the engine. Now you're saying it's oh, yeah. What it was, because it was a CPU unit, the electrical, it's like a chip. It controls all the electrics in the car. So she said to me, yeah, it was a CPU unit, very, very dirty. The engineer's cleaned it with some spray. He's taken it out and he tested it. And that's it. And I was like, oh, really? Well, how much do I owe you? And I'd had 4 new spark plugs because I'd had everything else done, nothing to do with Thailand, but I'm coming to the end now, right? Because I'd had everything done, they couldn't change the spark plugs. I don't know why. They said MG have to do it. So I got 4 new spark plugs in MG, and bearing in mind the repairs and everything, I went back and said, well, how much do I owe you? And they're like, Oh, 1,080 baht. I'm like, oh, so that's the result. I thought this is Thailand. I hope I don't get it out of the garage and it carries on doing it, because you know what it's like. A bit worried. Anyway, goes over there, and I was planning to take it to Terminal 21 because I've got a car valet in place in the basement. Really, really good, 450 baht. But it comes out looking like it's all the wheels have been rubber paint, and they do all the inside. It's like a brand new car. Okay, so that would have cost me 450 baht. Anyway, long story short, I went over to MG, picked up the car. It was valeted, including the price, right? So you knock that off the 1,080, you're talking, what's that, 550 or something like that? Whatever the spark plugs cost. So yeah, the car looked like new. I drove it out, drove it home, smooth as a whistle, no problems. What an outcome. Really, really happy. Sorry that went on a bit long, but I had to share that with you. Right, okay, let's get back into some comments. On your bike, mate. So glad you're happy. Yeah, all right. Right, Steve again. How far behind am I in the comments? Let's have a quick look. Oh, quite a long way. Quite a long way behind. Okay, I'll whiz through these now. Yours Travels. Thailand about to have a very, very slow high season. Krabi Phuket really slow. Need to keep an eye on your bills, as 3 times now bars and restaurants have added 200 baht of extras. Yeah, they're taking the piss now, Steve. A lot of the places around here, I'm not going to name them for obvious reasons. But there's a bar restaurant very close to me. She used to be so cheap when I came here in COVID. She's added 100 baht to everything, right across the board. A breakfast was like 129 baht. It's now 229 baht. A plate of rice was 85 baht. It's now 185 baht. She just put 100 on everything across the menu. And a lot of people are taking the piss now. Kenneth Hill says spicy will increase the blood pressure. Okay, good. Scuba Steve, I think you need one to do viral challenge on live where they eat world's hottest I'd do that. If anybody knows of somewhere where it's a really spicy challenge, I will go there and I'll get somebody to film me. I'll do it because I can eat really spicy food. Now I've said that, I'm probably going to get myself in trouble. Paul Hoskins, have you tried the Death Nut challenge? Yeah, they're really spicy. I haven't, Paul. Because we're still talking about spices, I'm guessing I'm really a long way behind it. Roland Butler, dual arrangement tax agreement with UK, you won't pay tax twice. Roland, this is what you'd like to think, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. Let's wait until January and see what they say. Robert Koch, hi Peter, a new member and excited to be out in March. Love your advice and the topics you discuss, and we'll email you well before my arrival to see if you are around. Well done. Yeah, thank you, Robert. I can't always meet people because sometimes it's just inconvenient, but tomorrow night there's a viewer who's been trying to meet me for 3 years, and I've said to him, look, if you're coming tomorrow, because I've always made not excuses, but I've always had something. I said, whatever happens, I'm going to drop everything. I'm going to meet you for a few beers tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, I'm going to be out and about just to meet this guy. Da Vinci 77, nothing like Thai Airways, simply the best. I agree with that. Andy Young, is it? When you order food, tell the person taking your order, which means if it's not spicy, I'm not eating it. Okay. Michael Ward, Sawadee Krab, very well. Interested to hear the video on opening a Thai bank account as a tourist. I'll try and get that out. I'm not promising, but I'll try and get that out before Saturday when my daughters are here. I'm going to be, look at that, nearly a litre. I'm going to be talking to Peter tomorrow. We're going to have a phone call, and then we intend to record the video on Tuesday. The good thing about doing these videos where you talk to somebody, like when I talk to Tim Newton or something, they don't need a lot of editing, so I should be able to get it out. Paul Hoskin, there was pent-up demand because of the Aunt Iris and everyone rushed back to find everything more expensive. There's still people out there who swear Bangkok's so cheap, but I mean, they tend to kind of drink in these pop-up bars, like tin tables on the street. They'll stay in the cheapest Thai guest house they can find, and they're happy with that. I mean, fair play. If that's how they want to, travel, that's up to them. But for me personally, at my age, I want a bit of comfort in my life. I like a nice hotel. It can be one site, it can be budget, but it's got to be clean, nice, comfortable. And I like to be able to eat where I want to eat. But I think it's getting expensive. There's a bit of a to and fro with this because there is a lot of people who say, no, rubbish, Bangkok's still Andrew Hammond, he's one. He'll come here and he say, oh, cheap as chips. It's so cheap. Steve, I've had arguments with Steve, not arguments, friendly banter about it being cheap. It is cheap if you compare it to another country. Like if you go to London or New York or something like that, and you're comparing like for like, then yes, it's still cheap. Definitely taxis, restaurants, generally they're cheap. But I'm comparing it to, say, 5 years ago before COVID. There's a massive jump in increases in prices. So for someone like me now living here, Thailand is much more expensive than it used to do. And the problem is here, when they increase things, it's not by a little bit, it's like a lot. And I'll give you an example. In England, for instance, if a landlord who owns a house is renting it out, he'll rent, when he increases the rent, the government advises, look, you can't, don't increase it by more than 5%. So if it's £500 rent a month, I know that's low now, I'm just using easy numbers. If the rent's £500 a month, then he'll increase it to £525. That's 5%. Okay, if my math's right. Okay, but here they don't tend to do it. They say, oh well, your rent's 20,000, we're going to put it up to 25 or 30. There's no percentages or in line with inflation or anything. There was one guy in this block. I told you a few times, he had the same apartment as me, 20,000 a month. His lease came to the end, and his Thai landlord said, "Oh, your rent's going up. How much?" 38,000. He's like, "I'm paying 20. You're going to put it up to 38." Obviously, he doesn't live here now. If that happened to me, I wouldn't live here now. Bruce G. Okay, a lot of people mentioning the J Fi. Is that how you pronounce it? Okay, all right. Don't need to mention that again. Scuba Steve, Nick Dean's video on the new bar. Yeah, I met Nick a couple of weeks ago when I was down there. I know his new bar. It's next to the what used to be the Pig and Whistle. It used to be the Irish bar. Is it Leary O'Grady's or something like that? I know where it is. I've passed it. I've passed it several times because I stay in Soy 7 and I walk down to the beach from there. Richard Harris. Okay, everybody's mentioning this same one. I'm going to skip these. Okay, let me say thank you to Brett for the super chat. I believe J Fire is located in Manchester Road, is one Michelin street food vendor. Her name, okay, all right. I've already done this, haven't I? Yeah. Okay, so we now know who she is, so no need to bring her up again. Right, Bamboo Peter, you can go meet Rotty Lady when she's streaming. Can cross stream with her. Okay, that'd be interesting. I guess there's a lot of people do that. What I've noticed is since she was basically the first, wasn't she? There's obviously a guy behind it who's done the channel for her, and I think she's got something like 200 and something new subscribers in 4 months. I've been going 5 years. I'm just over the 50,000 now, and I'm quite happy with the progress I've made with my channel. But to get over 200,000 subscribers in 4 months is absolutely amazing, and the money she makes is out of this world. But I've noticed because of that, there's a lot of guys a lot of street sellers who are now popping up on these similar kind of videos. And I guess what happens there's so many YouTubers in Thailand, so many, honestly. And I guess what people are trying to do is they're thinking, oh, that went down really well, Rotty Lady. So let's find Noodle Lady, and let's find Rice Lady, and let's find Hot Dog Sausage Lady. And they're all trying to jump on the bandwagon. And there's one or two cuties. I've seen a girl frying some stuff, and she winks at the camera. And but let's see who the next superstar is. There's a guy out there who he goes around sticking his camera in really pretty girls' faces. He's done really well. He's over 100,000 subscribers now. But there's an old saying, isn't it? SEX sells, and it obviously does. I don't, like I say, he's out there with his camera. He's basically sticking it in all of these girls' faces, but I'm sure he doesn't mind because he's doing very well. Right, Scuba Steve, once in restaurant over Road Soy 7, told me watch was waterproof, so I dropped it in my water and it stopped working. He went crazy. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Did you end up buying it or giving it back to him? Dave Bull, there's an old joke, these postcards, these naughty postcards, like these seaside we used to have in the UK, but they have them in Thailand, naughty postcards. There's a guy selling watches, and the guy says to him, "Is it waterproof?" And he says, "It is, but just keep your arm above the water level." Dave Bill, good evening, Peter. Happy Sunday. Yeah, hi, Dave. Let's put your other comment up. How much is a severe in Thailand? Just put my 4-year-old car here in Ireland, and it was $270. Yeah. It's because my daughters are coming here. It's low mileage. It's just me being a girl's blouse, right? It's done 30,000 miles. I just don't want to take the risk. Can you imagine? It's 3 hours down to Koh Samet. We're halfway down to Rayong, and the car stops at the side of the road. They're only here for 8 days. I don't want to be wasting 2 days on a day getting the car rescued, and then it's all taxis and buses. So it could still happen. It's not impossible, but I'm just trying to narrow it down to not happen. Right, VB305. I've tried J-Fi, all hype, awful. Awful waits, 4 to 5 hours minimum if you can get on the list, and the food wasn't anything worth mentioning. Okay, all right, I'll take your word for it. I don't know. Charles Saunders. Good evening, Peter. The moderators and everyone. Time change got me. Yeah, 7 hours now, so I'm on an hour earlier in the UK. No strings in Bangkok in 2 weeks. Maybe we can take your daughters out for dinner. They're very shy. I don't know if they'd be up for that. and I don't know if I'll be in Bangkok because we're going to spend a lot of time out of Bangkok. Terry Swole Boulder, is it? Maybe torque converter coming in and out of lockup. I don't know. It seems to be okay now, Terry. They said it was a CPU, the electrical system, and it drove really nice when I came back from on the other day. Yoss travels, short story long. Yeah, exactly. Johan Polson, is it? MGs are built in Thailand too, right? I thought they were built in China, MGs. Maybe I'm wrong. Paul Hoskins, UK garages rip you off. I used to take mine to the East Europeans. They're really good, you know. If you pay cash, there's no VAT, so I won't mention the garage. But I used to go along, and they were really fair with me. You know, I'd say, look, I want an oil change, I want this, that. There's a bit of a knockdown there, and they'd look at it and they'd call me and they'd say, look, it's going to cost you this. You're all right? Yep. Cash, or are you going to pay with cards? They only took cash in the early days. I used to give them the cash. It saved me, you know, a lot of money. I wouldn't tell you that if I was in the UK. URL Droid Superbot. What is the present income tax situation for you as a retiree with foreign income, and how will it change from 1st of January? Well, the thing is, I'm not on a retirement visa anymore. I was initially, but I changed it. I was very, very lucky that I was able to change onto a work permit. People ask me how I was able to do that. And the reason I was able to do it is because of my friend Simon and his factory in Bangor. And he has several companies. Now, under each company, he can have 4 employees. Okay. But the problem is I have to pay tax for 4 Thai employees. It's just, I think things are going to change. You know, I think there's a lot of people doing YouTube. There's content creators out here. And I think one day they'll crack down, and they're not stupid, the Thai government. What they'll do, they'll go onto YouTube and they'll look at videos and say, well, this guy obviously lives here. Let's see what visa he's on. And you know, there'll be people getting deported. So I changed mine a few months ago, a fair bit more, but I can sleep at night. And as far as your question about how is it going to change the tax situation, again, I keep reiterating this point. Nobody knows. Anybody out there who says they know, they don't. They're guessing. They're second guessing, because all the Inland Revenue in Thailand have said is we're going to start taxing foreign income in January, but they haven't given any details. They haven't outlined it. They haven't broken it down, as it were. So it's all guesswork. We all have to wait. JD Travels. Amazing car store. I remember once I got an oil change down Soy 6. Okay. Scuba Steve, yes, we definitely need to live on you eating hottest curry in Bangkok. Anyone know? I'd love to do that. I'm still thinking about doing a few videos, because I do a lot of cooking here in my apartment, you know, not because I'm trying to save money, but I like to know what I'm eating, and I enjoy cooking. I bought this huge pot, you know, and I make spaghetti sauce in it. I bought another microwave. There was one supplied with the apartment, so I've got 2 microwaves now. I don't like cooking on those electric hobs. You know, they take about 24 hours to heat up, don't they? And then you turn them off and it's wasted the heat. Andrew Hammond, I bet you can't eat an Indian, how do you pronounce that? Farry, the hottest curry. I bet I can, Andrew. You'd be surprised. Honestly, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, mate. I've been eating hot. Don't forget, I was married to a Korean for 33 years. She eats just as hot food as Thai do. And, you know, a lot of Korean food I don't like, but a lot of it I do like. And she wouldn't spice it down for me. Her attitude was like, this is what I'm eating. If you want it, have it. If it's too spicy, you don't like it, heat yourself up something in the microwave, because this is what it is. And I ate it for years and years and years. And I haven't found anything here in Thailand that I can't eat. The spicier, the better. Honestly, I'm not making that up. Oh, I had Bisto gravy tonight on a pie. That's why I'm drinking so much water. I hope it lasts another half hour. Jonathan Polson, if you want to live cheap, go to Isan. I couldn't live in Isan, Paul. I lived in Isan for 2 years. I opened a hotel up there, the Sofitel, which is now the Pullman. I was part of the opening team, opened in 1996. I just, for me, I can live in Bangkok. It's a very cosmopolitan city. It's got a lot going on. If I had to live outside, if I chose to live outside Bangkok, it'd have to be a seaside town. I don't mind where it is. Jumtien, Hua Hin, Chatham, anywhere where I can get up. I'd get a dog, stroll down the beach in the morning. Isan's not for me. A lot of people like it. It is very cheap, you're right, but it's just not for me. Toby Price, if Thailand have a tax agreement with another country, you don't need to pay tax. Simple. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see. I hope you're right. Yours Travels, as I stay here longer, I actually do notice that Bangkok and Phuket and Krabi is not cheap. Pattaya is so much cheaper for food, drink, and accommodation. Pattaya is a good deal, you know. Pattaya, I think, is the best value you can get. I mean, I'm not talking about if you go live in the sticks in Isan, but if you go into a tourist area, Phuket is probably the worst, probably worse than Bangkok, actually. And there seems to be a lot of people ripping you off down there. But yeah, I rate Pattaya. You know, I mean, I couldn't live in the middle of that industry. You know what I'm talking about? It's just too much temptation. But you can live far enough away, like Jomtien or Naklua, somewhere like that, which is 15 minutes out of town. You get yourself a little scooter, great down there. It's cheap. It's so cheap. You've got a great selection of food. You know, you can buy beers for like 50 baht, 60 baht all night in bars. It's brilliant. So expensive for, you know, when you go out to tourist areas here in Bangkok, 180 baht. Some bars are charging like 200 baht for a small Heineken now, like £4.80. Okay, catching up with some of these now. Right, Scaramonger, is it? Where are we? Russia. Hot is very. Has it got very busy now? It's high season. It's not high season yet. We're still in November. Well, no, you're right. It's coming into high season. Not really, not really. I noticed a few more people around, but as I said at the beginning of the stream, there's a lot of Koreans here. A lot. I do mean a lot. Okay. A lot of people are not coming out here because the flights are just so expensive. I've spoken to a lot of people, and people just don't want to commit. On top of that, you know, people in Europe and America and stuff, they're struggling with their everyday bills. You know, energy's gone up, food has gone up a hell of a lot. Flight prices have gone up. Some people are on limited incomes. You know, they're on pensions or they save up from work and they come out for 2-week millionaires, and they just can't afford to do it this year. You know, a lot of people I've spoken to. Okay, right, Brett. Anyone been to Mark Wine's restaurant on Sukhumvit Ekmaya? Always a long lineup when I pass by. Bangkok Pat went there and he said something. I didn't watch the video, but apparently he said something. The Bangkok Pat actually said this himself, that he was eating something and he didn't think it was good as something he tried elsewhere. And a lot of people jumped on him and he's like, you know, Mark Wayne is the best. And, you know, I haven't been there personally, no. Me and my wife used to watch his videos. We found them very, very interesting. But one of the places I visited with Jason down in India Town the other day, there's a place called Samosa Corner. It's absolutely famous. I was talking to the guy running it, or his son, because he didn't speak English. And his father before him ran that samosa counter. So it's just a corner, obviously. And there's a big vat of cooking oil, and they make samosas, and they sell like 5 for 75 baht. He's been there for 20 years. The current guy is there, and his father was there before him. Well, Mark Wayne had done something from down there as well. Let me just change this. Right. Okay. Who else we got in? Kurt Eric Monroe. Javier Lotus. Mark Wines has a restaurant in Thailand. Yeah, it's down in Egomaya. Mark Hanley. James Bond is the best, most famous manga. Don't know where that's come from, Mark. Right, Peter, I did mention you earlier about we'll be doing the video. A lot of people interested. Peter from Thai Legal Protection. I did mention at the beginning of the stream that we're going to be doing a video about how to obtain a bank account on a tourist visa. And if you go through the comments on this, if you've just come in, Peter, if you go back on the comments, a lot of people are saying they're really, really interested to see that video. Because I myself, I don't know how to do it. And you watched my video from 2 weeks ago, how to open a bank account as a retiree. And a lot of people are looking forward to that video. So we'll try and get that done on Tuesday. And I believe you're going to call me tomorrow. URL, Droid Superbot. Induction cookers cook very fast if you have induction vessels. Clean, doesn't darken the rim of vessels. No fire, perfect. Yeah, Simon swears by, not a pressure cooker, slow cooker. I haven't got one yet. I should get one. Brian, I've only just bought a rice cooker. Brian Street, papaya salad bowl blows my head off. But the problem is, Brian, you know, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know I hate the smell of garlic, okay? And papaya salads, it reeks, you know, and I can't eat them. And, you know, without the garlic, it's not the same, is it? And Anders Bergman, is it incredible how the Thais change the rules of the game all the time? Yeah, they do. They do. They change willy-nilly, you know, nothing's set in stone, as it were. Mark Hewitt, how you doing? Richard Woolley, the spiciest Thai food I can eat is chicken fried rice with an egg on top. That's no spice in that at all, Richard. I guess you're joking. David Pipe, oh man, I missed the stream due to the time change. Clocks to back in the US today. Oh, well, at least I'm here for the member stream. That will be in about 45 minutes, David. Yes. A few people saying similar to you. Richard Harris, well done on the spicy food. Like I say, I think it's just for the fact that my wife always made spicy food every dish, and I just ate a lot of the food that she ate, and I slowly got used to it over time. And I can't ever remember not being used to it. And don't forget, I lived here for a lot of years, working in the hotels and stuff, or other Asian countries. And it's not just Thailand that eats spicy food. You know, you go to a lot of countries, they eat very spicy food. I'm interested to go and visit Vietnam. That's one country I've never visited, and people have told me that a lot of the food there is vegetarian food. Now, I'm not a vegetarian, but I do like vegetarian food for a change sometime. And people have told me that the food, it's not so much that they just bung loads of spice in everything like they do here, but it's more fragrant. And I'd like to go to Vietnam and just give it a try for a few days. I've actually been invited by my friend Bob Gier. He's going over there for a few days, but he's like the king of the mongers. I'm not sure I could keep up with him, but I might go out there and just see how I get on. Richard Harris, well done on the spicy food, Peter. Not for me. Okay, you got to spend time out here, haven't you? Okay. Right, Steve. Yes, I use a slow cooker a lot. Also an air fryer. Yeah, I'm still in the dark ages, Steve. I'm using a rice cooker, a microwave, and a hot plate. Aussie Rules, multi-cooker, 3-in-1, slow cooker, pressure cooker, rice cooker, saves counter space. Okay. No strings, great stream. Keep it up. Thank you. Steve again. Andrew, vlogging a dead horse would fit in well with them. Oh, right. Okay. I can't read out comments like that. Aussie Rules. Hemp Expo in Bangkok later in November. I won't go to it because I went to the one last year with Simon. That was when he was first opening the factory. People ask me about what's going on. You know, I don't want to say the word, the broccoli factory. I think you know what I'm talking about. People have asked me what's going on. It's not my business. I just made a video about it, but I did promote it at the beginning. The price of it has definitely dropped down, but stuff is stabilizing out. People are going to make their money as planned, but Simon's kind of jigged the business and he's let everybody know. So if anybody's part of that deal, then you can contact Simon directly. It's not my business. Real Deal TV says food is better in Vietnam. Okay, well, hopefully I'll get to experience that. Okay. Boohoo, evening, Peter and crew. You've changed your picture there. That's a nice resort picture there. Asia Travels, Vietnam is great. The food is lovely. I hope so. I've been meaning to go for ages. Asia Travel, been 3 times. Well, the good thing about living in Bangkok, of course, you can just hop on a plane and it's literally like 40, 50 US dollars or something. It's very, very, very cheap. And apparently there's a big difference in where you go as far as temperatures go. Somebody was saying if you go up to Da Nang, it's quite cool, whereas in Hanoi it's very, very hot, or the other way around. But that'll be interesting. I'd like to. I'm very interested in history and especially war history, anything aviation like that. And they have a lot of museums from the Vietnam War there. Apparently, a lot of displays, things, traps that used to hurt people, the tunnels and everything. So if I did go there, I'd probably spend a lot of my time while my friend Bob is out mongering in the evening. I'd probably spend a lot of the daytime going out to these places because I would find that more interesting than the actual mongering side of things. Been doing that for a long time. URL Droid Superbot. Right. Let's see. Raw fibrous vegetables like bean sprouts, raw mango, raw papaya, grass, etc., and raw seafood like clams, oysters, squid, etc., is hard for foreigners to eat in Thai restaurants. I'm not really into raw food myself. When you're talking about seafood being raw, I mean, I don't mind a little bit of sushi. It's not like some people, like my wife used to go crazy for it. If I'd say to her in Bangkok, for instance, where do you want to eat? Oh, let's go for sushi. And sometimes I'd go. I didn't want to go, but I'm trying to keep her happy. And some of it, I could eat the salmon maybe or a bit of tuna raw, but I just find it repulsive when it hasn't been cooked. That's just me. Jason says, what about the girls? What girls, Jason? Hot in Saigon, says Mike. Okay. Well, I really do. I really am planning to go this. I don't know when Bob's planning to go with his friend, but I'll definitely, he has invited me and I should go, really. I should. When I do my visa, I wasn't going to get a multiple entry visa because I thought, well, I'm not going back to England anymore. I don't need a multiple entry. It's just a waste of time, money and everything. And then somebody said, well, what about if you want to go to the Philippines or Vietnam? And they're right. And I thought, blimey, yeah, I should get a multiple entry visa. Okay. Who's that? Ben says, when when are you going to Vietnam? I usually go during Songkran. I haven't actually any solid plans at the moment, Ben. I've just, like I said, I've just been invited by my friend Bob. He did tell me when he's gone, and I can't remember. And I said I'd think about it. But yeah, I don't know. Do they have Songkran in Vietnam? I really don't know. I mean, what you mean is that you go when it's Songkran in Thailand, but I was wondering if they have a similar festival in Thailand. Um, Right, Aussie Rose. Do you use a VPN often useful? Yeah, I use a VPN all the time, not because I'm doing anything illegal or I'm scared of anything. It's just I find the connection can be a lot cheaper. I go through Singapore and it's very fast. So I use, and I'm not getting any kickbacks. I'm not, I wouldn't have mentioned this if you hadn't asked the question, but I use something called Nord. It's not overly expensive, about $100 a year or something, and you get a map and you can pick where the server is. And I've done everywhere. So obviously I'm in Bangkok, but I've done Perth, Melbourne, all over the globe, even the UK. But I find the quickest connection I get is if I go through Singapore. It actually comes back at 100. Is it terabytes or megabytes, whatever it is? So the speed I'm getting, you'll see by the quality of this stream now. Let me just do a quick internet speed, even though this is going. And I'll tell you what I'm getting. Right, even doing this stream, I'm getting 200. Is it going to push over the 3? Over the 3. Right, so I've done 305 megabits, okay, on that test. And that's with this stream going. And I don't think the stream's gone. The reason I use a VPN is not because I'm doing anything illegal, but if I want to watch, say, catch up TV from the UK, like Channel 5 or BBC iPlayer, something like that, I need to go through a VPN, because if I try to watch any of those, they just say not available in your country. The other thing is, a good tip for you, some people have said to me, because I use Netflix, but I'm signed up to Netflix in the UK, and many people have said to me, oh, well, if you cancel your account in the UK and join it in Thailand, you'll pay a lot less. So I looked into it, and yeah, you will pay less, but not, I wouldn't say it's a lot less. But the problem is you don't get such good viewing, because a lot of the dramas that they'll put on the Netflix in the UK, they don't show here. It's a different viewing audience, even though it's foreigners. The same thing here. It's not quite the same. And sometimes Simon, my friend, he signed up to Netflix in Thailand, and sometimes I'll say, "Oh, did you watch that? It's really good. It's a series." And he'll say, "No, I didn't see it." And I'll say, "Yeah, it's on Netflix." And he'll phone me up and say, "I can't find it." And the reason is because it's not on his Netflix, because he's got the Thai account. Real Deal TV. Hey, Peter, I started my own YouTube channel with another account. Do you find yourself always checking views on your channel? You can't help it, because the thing is, the first thing you do. So for me now, this is, I do make money on YouTube now. It took a long time. I've been going 5 years. I don't make huge amounts of money. People ask me how much I make. I don't like to say, because it's private, isn't it? It's like asking somebody how much they've got in their bank account. But what I'll say to you is, it makes the difference between my life being here very comfortable as opposed to scraping by. Okay, so it's good like that, but you're not making so much money that I can go out flashing the cash every night and doing bar fines, because it isn't. You get pennies per thousands of views. There is a question there somewhere, isn't there? Do you find? Yeah. So the first thing I'll do, and I've got the YouTube app on my phone, so the first thing I do when I wake up is I'll check all the comments, because sometimes, not only to answer them, I answer every single comment, even if it's just a heart sometimes. But I concentrate on YouTube, and I'll get emails, and I answer every single email that gets sent to me. I hear people say to me sometimes, "Oh, I've been watching this YouTuber for 3 years, and I emailed him. I told him I was coming to Thailand. 3 times I emailed him, and he didn't even have the decency to email me back. And I went to see him, and he kind of fobbed me off. And I don't believe in that. The thing is, without the viewers, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. So every time I get, I will answer your question in a second. Every time I get an email or a comment, I always answer it. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I think, oh, I don't want to answer this because it's a long answer. The only thing I don't do nice, sometimes guys will they'll ask me a bunch of questions, and I used to just write back and tell them all the answers, but I don't have the time now. So what I say to them, I say, if it's just a quick one, then I will. But if they ask me, sometimes people will send me a list, for me to answer, and I'll just say, look, I just don't have the time to do it. If you really want to know, pay for my consultancy. It's cheap for an hour. I'll sit with you for an hour, and you can ask me anything you want. A lot of people don't bother because they're looking for cheap, free stuff. One or two do come back. But yeah, of course, I check my numbers every morning. Of course I do. And when I get a lot of people unsubscribe, I don't like it. No YouTuber likes it when people unsubscribe. You get the odd guy who'll unsubscribe. It doesn't bother me because everybody gets people who unsubscribe. I unsubscribe. I'll come across a channel and I'll think this is great, and I'll watch it, and I'll watch all his channels, his videos, and after 6 months I'll get a notification. I think, oh, I'm bored with this guy now. He's not done anything wrong. He hasn't changed his format, but I'm just bored. So I unsubscribe, and of course that happens to me. But in answer to your question, yeah, all YouTubers check their numbers. You want to know how many subscribers are you on the upward trend? What's really interesting is what videos become watched more than others. One thing that's always kind of interested me is I can, for instance, Marley's still around, but she's just busy at the moment, right? I'll make a video with Marley that'll cost me, okay? I've got to pay her, okay? I've got to use fuel. We spend the whole day driving to a location. We do filming. She has to talk over and over again because she makes a lot of mistakes. It takes a whole day. I have to buy her lunch, soft drinks, everything, drive back. The day's filming has maybe cost me 4,000 baht, 100 pounds. But I'm thinking it's great. We went to this Ayutthaya, for instance, or we went to the Mekong Railway. You know, Marley was looking glamorous, and it should be a good video. And I'll get 4,000 or 5,000 viewings in its lifetime, and it's very, very disappointing. Another video, I'll go and sit in the lounge, and I'll talk about why I left my family behind in the UK and come to live here. Just sitting in the lounge, you know, half an hour talking to a camera, bang it up on the internet, 110,000 views. You know, I can't work it out. Right. Barry Bluebirds. Just have a quick sniff. Hang on. I think it's the air conditioner. Barry, what are the trains and buses like from Bangkok to Pattaya? The buses are very, very good. I wouldn't recommend the trains because they only go very, very early. I think there's two a day, and they go real early. I think it's 5:30 and 6:30. Then there's no more for the rest of the day. It's a strange one. The buses go from the North Pattaya bus terminal, Ekamaya. So you can get, if you're anywhere, you know, you can get on the BTS or the MRT. You get to the Egamaya station, BTS station, for instance, and you come out. I think it's exit 1, but you can look it up on YouTube. Which exit do I come out to get to the bus station? And it's literally 100 yards. You come down the stairs of the BTS, the SkyTrain, and you can see the flags all flying outside. You go in there, and I always recommend get the big blue air conditioning bus. You get assigned a seat number. It's 131 baht to get from Bangkok to Pattaya. They go every 30 minutes. If you've got luggage, they'll stick it under the bus. It's safe. I've done it many, many times before I had transport. They drop you off in the North bus terminal in Pattaya. You can get a Grab motorbike or taxi to your hotel, maybe 40 baht, 45 baht. Excellent service. I'd be very wary of the minibuses. What happens when you go to the bus station? The first window as you go in, that's the main government buses. That's where you buy the ticket, 131 baht. But a couple of windows down, you've got a guy hanging out of the window saying, Pattaya, leaving, buses leaving now, Pattaya. He screams that all day. And you think, oh, I'm going to Pattaya. You know, it's more expensive and it's more dangerous. You know, those buses are always crashing. There's always people getting killed. There was one a few months ago. I think it was 7 people got killed, you know, because the difference is if you go down on a public bus, those guys are on a salary. It doesn't matter whether they're sitting in the waiting room, they're sitting in traffic, or the bus is driving, they're getting a salary, right? Those guys in the 8-seater minibuses, they only get paid when their foot is on the metal. So if they're sitting around, they're not getting paid. So when they are driving, their goal is to get down there, get you out of that van and get back as soon as possible. Okay. So I find them quite scary, quite dangerous. I personally wouldn't take the minibuses. Real Deal TV. I'll be in Vietnam late February. Okay, good. Asia Travel says beautiful girls in Vietnam too. Barry Bluebird, what are the trains like? Okay, I've just read that. Mark Hanley says a lot of YouTubers have had their channels pulled at the moment. I don't know anybody who's had their channel pulled. Mark, who? Can you let me know? I think, if I'm guessing, let me just blow my nose. I've got this. I'll be sniffing all night otherwise. That is better. That is much better. Right. When you say a lot of YouTubers have had their channels pulled, now I'm guessing that there might be channels that are focused in Pattaya who do a lot of girly stuff, because YouTube are getting really strict on that and they don't like it. And I don't know if you've noticed my thumbnails, I've tamed them down now. They used to be very, very sexy thumbnails, but I still put girls on the thumbnails because, you know, it attracts clicks, I'll be honest. But I've tamed them down now. They're not, they're clothed a bit more than usual. And I don't know, let me know, but, you know, I'd love to know whose channel's being pulled and why. Paul Hoskin, you don't need a multiple entry permit for the bar girls. All right, Paul. Nicholas Hall, I love Vietnam. Hanoi has a great French influence, lots of culture and history. I had a lot of good food there as too. Beef is incredible there. Can't wait to try it. Same as when I first went to India, I worked in that hotel that got attacked. You know, the Taj Mahal. I was there for a year. Luckily, I'd left when all that happened. Beautiful hotel. And what was I going to tell you that? It's gone. You told me something then, and it's gone. I was going to tell. Oh, India. So when I first went into India, I got to, they used to call it Bombay. It's Mumbai now. The first thing that struck me is the architecture. It was like being in London in the 50s. Everything looked, I'm in England, but I'd gone back in a time machine. Amazing. And I guess it's the same with the French architecture. I remember when I was in Cambodia, that had a very French feel to it. Somebody told me in Vietnam the bread is fantastic, because, you know, in Thailand, bread's just kind of, there's a lot of bakeries around now. 25 years ago, you couldn't get bread to save your life. They did sandwiches in 7-Eleven that had sugar in the bread, really sweet, with this horrible green stuff as a filler. It was like horrible. I tried one day, nearly puked. And but you know, the bakeries are popping up everywhere now. Thais are starting to get into bread, and but somebody told me in Vietnam, because of the French influence, you can get lovely baguette loaves, hot baguette loaves and cobs, and bread is a real big thing in Vietnam. So, you know, that's one of my downsides. You know, I'm a bread lover. I can have bread as a meal, and it's all carbs, isn't it? Scam monger. What's the busiest month in high season? I guess it's got to be around the Christmas season. So you're talking December, starts to fade out about January. So yeah, probably December, because people come over here. That's the coolest month. It starts to see, what's happening is it's a rainy season now. So although it's fairly cool, there's rain every day. We've had a thunderstorm tonight. Excuse me. We had a thunderstorm yesterday. You'll have, I think it's raining now. We had heavy rain in the daytime, so it's really difficult sometimes. You want to go out, you think, well, I'll go out in an hour. You're just ready to go out, and then the skies open up, and you know it's like in Thailand, it's torrential rain. So that eases off towards the end of October. Okay, we're now into November, so we should be seeing less and less. I say should because of these storms we've been having. I hope when my girls are here next week, it's really eased off. But with that, the rain's gone, and then the temperature comes down to a nice kind of cool 26 degrees as opposed to 38 degrees around there. So when you sit in bars outside, it's actually quite pleasant, because in the evening, in the summertime, when it's hot here, you sit outside and you're just attacked by mosquitoes. It's so hot, you're sweating. It's just very uncomfortable. You know, even with a fan on you, you feel dirty and sweaty. But this time of year, it starts to get to the point where in the evening you can sit in bars outside, and it's always humid, it's always hot, it's always sweaty, but it is doable. It gets nice. No strings. Ever considered getting a better PC for your editing, etc.? Can you save a ton of time, especially if you consider an Apple Mac? Right. I'd never change to an Apple Mac. I've heard the Apple phones have a much better camera than the Androids, but the problem is I'm 64 in April and I'm self-taught. I design my own website. All this stuff, all the thumbnails you see, I don't use any programs. I use a graphics program. I start with a blank canvas. The girls are cut out all the backgrounds, the wording, the coloring. It's all done manually by me. I don't use any programs to do it. All my streams and everything, the software I use, I've learned it all by hand. So at the moment, I've got no desire to learn to do anything better. As far as a better PC goes, I've got a very high spec Dell laptop here. I had it upgraded when I came out here. I paid about £1,200 I paid for this. It did have 16 megabytes of RAM. I've upped that to 32, which is the maximum RAM I can get in this PC. It's quite fast. It doesn't juggle when when I'm making videos. It doesn't kind of buffer or anything. It's very good. But it was nice when I was in the UK and I had my office in the garage. You know, I had a full desktop computer. I had a big screen. You know, and sometimes on a laptop you have to do multiple buttons to get commands up. But, you know, it is what it is. I've got a very small workspace here. The desk that I'm sitting on is built into the wall, and it's probably 2 foot wide. Okay, and I've got a lot of stuff on here. I've got a printer, I've got a monitor, I've got some lights, 3 sets of lights. I've got my Rode microphone here that you can't see. It's there, look. So I've got quite a lot of gear on here, and I think, honestly speaking, to put a desktop here, I think it would just be too much. So I'm kind of getting used to working on a laptop. It's not that bad, but this is, like I say, it's quite a high spec laptop. Jerry Massey, good morning from Virginia, enjoying the stream. Hi Jerry, put you up there, handsome man. Good to have you in the stream. I've got to whiz through these because I've got about 9 minutes left and I'm way behind now. Real Deal TV, Barry, the bus is great and under 200 baht, comfortable and air conditioning. Yep, absolutely. And just while we're talking about buses, you can also get the bus down to Hua Hin. I think from recollection, it's about 180 baht. When you get it back, you have to go to the Blueport Mall. It's on the side of the Blueport Mall, and that goes back to Edgarmeyer. That's not the 8-seater minibus. It's not the full-size minibus. I think it's like 22 seats. I was lucky enough to sit on the front seat next to the driver, but on the way back they did try to scam me on the tickets because I had a case. She said, oh, you have to buy another ticket to put your case on the seat next to you. And I'm like, no, I bought a single ticket and I put it on the floor when I came down here. And she just kind of laughed and said, oh, okay then, so be careful. Paul Hoskin, do you ever watch a film at the cinema in Bangkok? I don't, Paul, to be honest with you. I've got one of these Amazon sticks, and I've got a couple of free movie apps on there. I get tired. I'm editing all day. I'll go out and do some shopping. I'll meet people. I swim. By the time it gets to 9 o'clock, I just want to flop on the sofa and watch a bit of TV, a good movie or something. Scuba Steve, are you on TikTok? I've got a TikTok account. It's Peter Thailand Bound. I don't really advertise it here because I put the same videos that I put on YouTube on TikTok, the shorter ones. Pupmaster 1, hello Peter, hello. Anyone late to the party? Okay, well, we've still got the members stream to come at 11:15, and as always, I've got the two competitions. I've got the Spot the Tiger and the Ladyboy competition, and we're going to be having a special guest in tonight for a few minutes. We're going to have Franco. He was a bit kind of reserved, a bit nervous about coming in, but he's going to talk to us about flights, a little tip he's found to get a cheaper flight. Right, okay, we're nearly there. Real Deal TV, okay, I've read that one. Right, Scuba Steve, do you think a meetup with Eddie is on the cards when he arrives? I don't think so. For some reason, I think he's upset with me. That's what people are saying. I can't remember upsetting him, but I've had a lot of people write to me and say I've upset him. I don't know how. So if he is upset with me, then no, I don't think he'll be contacting me. Mike Braithwaite, we are frugal mongers, okay? Bamboo, Peter, I respect you. Do you respect me? I know what you're talking about. Yes. There we go. Look, I respect you. Right, okay. Paul Hoskins, I like going to the cinema with popcorn and Coke in Bangkok at the World Trade Plaza. That's a clean comment, Paul. I get worried when I read your comments. I think, what's the end joke here? Okay, good. Real Deal TV. I've got 50 subs so far. I'm pretty happy with that. Laugh out loud. I'm enjoying it. Do you know what? It's surprising. When I started my YouTube channel in 2000, I think it was 2017 with my wife in I was in Hua Hin. I think when I went back to the UK, I think it was 16 subscribers. And I said to Simon, I said, oh, I got back and I got to 20 subscribers. I phoned him up. I was so excited. And I said, do you know what? I said, I got 20 subscribers. And he was laughing and he said, oh, let me know when you got 1,000. And now I wind him up. I said, oh, I've just hit 50,000. I've just hit 51,000, Right. Ben, Mark Hanley, is January, February, and Songkran is in April. I go to Vietnam to get away from the water thrown cable. I'll be honest with you, I don't like Songkran. When it's Songkran last year, it's coming closer, isn't it? April, I think it is. When it was Songkran last year, I went out, I got a box of beer. I went to Villa and Big C and did all my shopping, filled up the fridge, filled up the cupboards with food, and I didn't leave here for about 3 days. Not literally. I used to go out after 7 o'clock, because the water dies down there. But, afternoons, forget it. You go to anywhere near Sukhumvit. I mean, people might say, oh, you're a miserable old git, Peter. But I've done all that. I used to stand down in Patpong with an electric water pistol and a barrel of water, and all the girls would be there, and we'd be filling up these water pistols, and everybody walked by, we'd be spraying them. Some people got really pissed off with it, So I've done it. I enjoyed it, but I'm not into it anymore. Salt Lake Snow Bunny, would Thailand be fun to travel for a young American girl? Would you recommend it and what to do? Oh, absolutely, and very, very safe. A lot of girls ask this question, Now, I'm not suggesting you're into this at all, but there are women who come here for the same reason some single men do. That's an opportunity. That's a possibility. So if that's kind of at the back of your mind, which I apologize if it's not, I'm just letting you know. But no, it's an excellent place to visit. It's very, very safe. You just got to watch for the scams like you do everywhere else, but you're not going to get hit on the head with a brick in the middle of the night or held up with a gun or anything like that. It's very, very safe. There's a lot of places to visit. There's some great tourist resorts. There's some great tourist places, forbidden, that's China, isn't it? Forbidden City, the Grand Palace, there's some great river cruises. It's fantastic for a woman. Yeah, absolutely. Don't not come because you think it might not be safe or something. Thai legal protection. Bamboo Peter respects all his views and shows it when he does his videos. No need for these questions in the chat, mate. Okay, I don't know. No, it was he's a long time viewer, Peter. He was actually, there's a guy who came in and asked that serious question, and he doesn't, because I didn't answer him. I was like, well, that's a bit of a weird question. He doesn't come in anymore now. And Bamboo was kind of taking the piss a little bit. That's why I took the piss back. So he didn't mean anything. But thanks for your support on that. Ben said, yeah, you're right, Houston. Edgemere is the Eastern bus station, of course. They've got a North bus station as well. You don't want to go to that one. Bamboo, last bus to Pattaya leaves 2100 hours. Sometimes they have extra buses on holidays. I'll tell you what, one time when I was using the buses, I don't know why, I didn't realize that last bus was at 7 p.m. And I got on the back of a motorbike taxi and he was like, you do know the last bus is at 7. This is about 7:15. I was like, no, I made it, thank God. But okay, right. Stephen Weeks, thank you for that, Stephen. Looking good, Peter. Carry on, mate. Great. And I hope we'll see you in the member stream. Let's get through a few more. Thank you for that. It's very generous of you. Let's get through a few more of these comments before we go. Mortimer Duke, thank you for that 199. Keep living the dream. You're doing brilliantly. Thank you. I just try and get everybody in before I go. Ben, Burma has lots of British architecture and Penang does too. Been to Penang. Mike Braithwaite, the bread in Vietnam is incredibly good. Just got back from 3 weeks. I've got to go just for the bread. Johan Paulson, is it? When I'm in Thailand, I use taxi 1,500 baht, Bangkok Pattaya in private taxi is fantastic. You should be able to get cheaper than that, especially if it's from the airport. That's about right. If you want a good taxi driver, there's Apple's number. That's the car she'll pick you up in. She speaks English. I don't get any commission off her. I just try and help her out with a bit of business there. You can go back and pause this, but she'll pick you up from the airport wherever you want. A lot of happy clients with her. Right. Kelly, question. Peter, in Canada, we eat the bison or buffalo as it's healthy. Do Thais eat their water buffalo? I'm not sure to be honest with you. I'm sure they must do, right? I think they actually love their water buffalo because a lot of them get sick. We have to pay for the medicine. Yours, literally thousands of single women traveling around Phuket and Krabi every day. Very safe, safer than London and New York. Exactly my thoughts, Steve. So that's for the lady who asked the question. Andrew Bergman, thanks all. Ben, Salt Lake City, Bunny, also Koh Phangan is a good party place, which is near Koh Tao in the Gulf of Thailand. Whizzing through these now. Liam Burns, hi Peter, I'm over in a month. We'll spend 4 to 5 days initially in Bangkok. Where is your favorite area place to have a drink these days? Not Nana Plaza, probably Soy Cowboy, but I tend to go to the bars like that have the live bands now, like Penny Black or Country Road, maybe pop into Tilak Bar, something like that. But I get really fed up when these women come home, they want to drink out of you without you. I'll say, well, I don't know you. What's your name? You haven't told me what your name is. They'll come up to you and go, you buy me a drink. And I'll say, who are you? You haven't even asked me who I am, where I'm from. Am I on holiday? You're asking me for a drink. Go away. Scuba Steve, we meet up. Right. Okay, that's it. We're on the 10:30. Toby Price, Thais eat everything. They do. I've got to knock it on the head there, guys, because I've got a 15-minute break. I've got to go have a little, go to the toilet. I might even pour myself just a little nip of whiskey to get going for the members stream. It was a good one last week. Hopefully it'll be good again. Thank you to Franco in the background there, moderating. I don't think we had Damon in. Thank you to everybody who did gave me a super chat. It's very, very generous. I always appreciate that. And thanks to all you guys for participating in the comments tonight. Quick break. I'll be back in 15 minutes for the members.